Welcome back to another quick review as my mic proceeds to fall over and not want to work with me today. That's fine, I'm probably going to get a new one soon anyway. Today we are talking about Wrath by John Gwynne, the fourth and final book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. I almost said trilogy, there's four of these. Um, and let me start off by saying Wrath probably ended up being my second favorite book of the series. Right behind Ruin and right above Malice and Valor. I had a really good time with this book. I think I think Wrath ended up being the most well-rounded book um, of the entire series. Like it's like up there with like Malice in regards to how well-rounded they are. The reason why I like Ruin more is I think just Ruin's emotional impact. And like the second half of the book really got me to appreciate the first half of the book as well as Malice as a whole, right? Um, and the series as a whole. And that's why I love Ruin so much. But Wrath, I think, is the most well-rounded book in the full series. And I think a lot of that has to do with the ending and how we get there. It's not overly long, um, and I think the ending is actually is actually pretty satisfying. Um, my one issue with the ending, and the last like 100 pages in general, is just how many people died, and it's not so much the issue with how many of them died; it's more so the people that did die, right? Because obviously this is a war. Like that's 150, 200 pages. Obviously this is a war. Obviously people are going to die. I've learned this from other books. Pierce Brown, Red Rising and whatnot. I hate bringing this back. I hate bringing up this because as much as I love Red Rising, I don't want to compare everything to it. Um, you know, he said this is war. People are going to die. War is random, and it's exactly what it feels like. This war is random. People are going to die out of nowhere, and that's completely fine. I think my ultimate issue with Wrath, and The Faithful and the Fallen as a whole, as a series, and why it kind of falls flat for me, all ties back to one book. It all ties back to one book, and that's Valor. Valor, with context, with extra context, makes less and less sense to me as the weeks go on that I've read it. But Valor's issue is the way I view a trilogy, right? Valor's issue it is that it doesn't follow, in my opinion, follow what I personally love to see in a trilogy in regards to character wise, right? The beginning of trilogy, and I know this is not a trilogy, but like just follow me for a hot second, right? The beginning of a trilogy is the character build up. Um, the second book of the trilogy is the beginning of the trilogy is the introduction of the characters. The second book of the trilogy is expanding on the characters, the character build up, and then some sort of emotional fallout. And then the third book of the trilogy is the emotional fallout as the aftermath of the emotional fallout, as well as the conclusion to certain two character arcs. Right. That's how I view the trilogy. If we're going off of four books, beginning of the trilogy should be the introduction of the characters. The second book of the trilogy should be what I was saying, or in this case, the second book of the trilogy should be building up the characters and expanding on the characters. The third book is the emotional fallout, and the fourth book is the emotional fallout aftermath as well as the conclusion. And obviously, you could have emotional fallout at any point in this, but the big emotional fallout should be at the end of the third book, which is exactly what happens in this. The problem is, I don't think Valor does a really good job at expanding and fleshing out a lot of these characters. Valor's biggest issues is that it's moving at breakneck speed at all time. This is my issue. I was having a conversation with a friend about this earlier today. This is my issue with Jujutsu Kaisen. Is that it's moving breakneck speed at all times. That it doesn't really give me time to breathe. And so ultimately, I didn't because of Valor. I didn't end up really caring about the characters. As much as I probably should, which I think lessened a lot of the impact that you see in not so much Ruin, but Wrath specifically. When you get to the end and a whole bunch of characters die. Like there's a handful of characters that I can say that I really cared about, and that's my issue. Overall, like otherwise, the Faithful and the Fallen is great. I love John Wick. Oh my goodness, I love John Wynn's world building. I love the lore that he put into place, the world as a whole, obviously. combat scenes, his ideas, like everything about the Faithful and the Fallen is perfect, except the characters. The characters are just like, and like I said, I grew to love some of these characters, like Corbin, Gar, Corlin, Veritas, Storm, Quinn. Like I think these are characters that I did grow to enjoy, but I think a lot of the characters ended up falling flat, and you don't end up seeing, because of Valor, you don't end up seeing like a lot of these emotional deaths don't hit you. Like, I'm gonna dive into spoiler territory right here. There was one death in this book that I think is weird with and without Valor, and that's Fidel, whatever you want to call her. And it's it. I find it weird that she fell off the cliff. Obviously, it makes Lycos more killable. Obviously, Lycos is already hated. You didn't have to do anything more to make me hate him even more. But it makes him more killable and whatnot. But or more hateable and whatnot. But I think the way she went out was a little weird. I think it's like she falls off a cliff, dies, and bam, that's bad. I think that's actually kind of the worst death. All this build up with this character just for that. I think that, and then make Windsor just go on a revenge spree. I'm not sure how I feel about that entire arc. That's kind of a personal thing. But with or without Valor, I think that's just kind of a weird moment. Overall, book is really good. It's like a 9.5 out of 10. It's still a really good book. I just think I'm more so venting my frustrations about the Faithful and the Fallen as a franchise, as opposed to as opposed to this one book, which is probably a mistake on my part, but it's fine. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Wrath is really good. If I had to rank the books, it would be Ruin number 1, 10 out of 10. Wrath number 2, like 9.5 out of 10. Malice number 3, 8.5 out of 10. And then Valor number 4, like a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. Valor's still not a bad book, but it just didn't. The more I think on it, the less I like it. So yeah, that's it for the Faithful and the Fallen. I'm going to be moving on to, I'm going to start Mistborn next, actually. I think that's what I'm going to do. Either Mistborn or the Book of Fallen Leaves. I'll see. Thank you for watching. See ya. Bye.